Welcome back, Overwatchers, to the Open Division Season 2 Europe. This is Week 1 still. I am Rapture, back again here with Blank for another Best of 5. And this time we have the Spicy Space Pirates taking on Timeless after we earlier saw a nice 3-0 from Northern Lights over Team Contemno. Blank, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, yeah, dude. So some cool matches we had before. Northern Lights showing an impressive display of skill on Hanamura, Dorado, and Ilios. We have seen a lot of Ilios so far, so people are very interested to play it. But today, we will see Oasis as the first map, so enjoying to see a little bit of a Junkrat, one of those maps there, and a bit more Farah here and there. So we'll be getting to get maps, the game very shortly. We're going to go through a little preamble right now of me and Rapture here. So we do have a Swiss format with 1,000 teams signing up. That is a massive amount of players, 1,000 times 6. I wish I was good at maths because that would have been an impressive number, but I'm not. Hopefully someone in the chat who is a maths major can do it. Maybe Vals, I don't know. You can do it, bro. Yeah, so we'll be getting into game shortly. Like I said, there's so many people playing.
Absolutely ridiculous amount. I feel like there's almost more players than our teams that have been in previous Open Divisions. I mean, it's an absolutely crazy. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Swiss, teams play each other that have similar records, though it does go weekend by weekend. So we have the Spicy Space Pirates, not Ninjas, so I'm sure that would be a great matchup somewhere in the stars. They are a 1-0, though their opponents are 0-1. But at the end of the weekend, then they will go into their next weekend matchups based on the record that they got in their previous 2 days. So that's how Swiss works. It'll be 6 weeks, and then going into a playoffs. And like you said, it's a best of 5, and we are starting off on Oasis. Have you caught the Spicy Space Pirates before, or are they also a new team for you?
Spicy Space Pirates, I actually did a lot of work with them with AEO. I know that the captain actually quite well sketch. But this team is a really, really good team. They have the passion to learn. They have the passion to improve. It was actually them going 0-1 yesterday. They did take the loss there, but I was chatting to them as well and they said that they all scrubbed down and they just wanted to improve. So they went through the analysis, and I think from what I caught from that was that the tanks were being focused down too quickly. So DPS need to focus maybe on the enemy team's tanks a little better, and especially they were talking about getting Diva mechs out of the way and making sure Winston Shield's bubbles went down as soon as possible. So it was nice to see that they were willing to improve so much, so we could see like a miraculous performance from them today. I hope so, at least. They have such great tank synergy. We don't know too much about Timeless though, do we, Rap?
No, we don't, and this is a team that I've been covering the EU Cups for Go for Overwatch, as well as Heroes of Analyst, and another team that is unfamiliar to me, and that's what's the beauty of Open Division. There's so many teams that could be coming out of the woodwork and give these other more established teams a run for their money. Of course, Northern Lights is definitely a team that we've seen a lot in the EU scene, and then the Spicy Space Pirates. But yeah, Timeless is one of those squads that we don't know too much about, except that they are 1-0 going into this match. So potentially setting themselves up for a nice 2-0 weekend, which would be great starting off in week 1 where things are the most hectic. Of course, things get only harder and harder from here as you play people of your same record. So if you go out of this weekend 2-0, you're playing some of the better teams in Open Division going into weekend 2, which is great, but also, of course, much harder than the teams that are going 1-1 and 0-2. And you mentioned Spicy Space Pirates. Their tank play is definitely going to be a big thing to focus on. We're going into Oasis, where it's all about the big scrambles where your tanks are going to be creating space for the rest of your team. Especially on Oasis, you're going to be very open at times. So you're right, it's definitely going to be a huge focus on them to make sure that their tank line stays alive, but we really don't know what Timeless is going to throw at them. They might throw at, quad tank or triple, or something like that, something crazy that Spicy Space Pirates or my cat aren't expecting.
Indeed. So we do have a cat here today for all you cat lovers at home.
Baxter's our other analyst.
Yes, Baxter is our other analyst. He's a very smart boy. I was talking to him earlier beforehand, giving some really crucial tips on how to run my analysis today. Thank you, Baxter. He is telling me off once again. But yeah, so Timeless, I've just looked through their profiles a little bit, done a bit of stalking there. They're around about a 4K team. SSP around about a 3.8K, but they definitely have the experience in their back pockets running through AEO championships a lot of the times, coming out on top during the weeks. Hopefully we will see some more closer matches today. I know we have been bringing you a lot of 3-0s recently, but that's just how Open Division will start at the beginning as we sift through the teams, as teams get more and more sifted down into their respective groups.
Of course, yeah, that's how Swiss works. That's actually the beauty of the format, is that you're going to be getting closer and closer to peers of your level, which not only makes for some great competition, but grows you as a team as well. And speaking of growth, we are here at Broadcast.gg, an amazing place and platform for a lot of teams to get more exposure and a lot of casters and producers to get more experience to work on stuff. So thank you all for tuning in and following us here on our Open Division Road, of course, as well as all of our Scrib Nights and other programs that we run. So we really appreciate you all tuning in, and hopefully you'll enjoy. And I believe Baxter will enjoy it as well, though. He wants that door open more than he wants the games coming for sure. But we got some great EU competition coming our way. We're going to throw to our cast in a little bit, but we will have Boopasaurus and HamTornado on the sticks. So definitely look forward to them. They're going to do a phenomenal job. We're just getting ready with these teams here. So you were talking again about Spicy Space Pirates, that team that you're familiar with. Do you know any kind of game types or compositions that they like to favor? Things that you might expect for them going into this match, aside from things they have to work on?
Well, honestly, a lot of the times SSP or Spicy Space Pirates, they do like to play this 4-2 dive. With the Winston Genji. I know Ninja Spong is a great Genji player indeed. So they have the Diva, Genji, Winston, and then Daya is an exceptional Mercy player. Positioning right all the time. We'll probably jump in with that, and it will be up to Scrooty and his support to stay in the backline. Or Scrooty and the DPS stay in the backline, just hold that one down. They have a very good idea of when to counter engage and when to counter dive. So watch out for Rayson saving onto those boosters on the Diva, and watch out for Atman saving onto that leap to get back into the fray there. For Timeless, there's not much I can tell you. We'll have to see how it goes from game, but I will give you a more in-depth analysis with HamTornado during the halftime split. Until then, I hope you look forward to it, and I hope you enjoy the games today.
Nice.
Absolutely. Let's go into it. Let's throw it to our casters. HamTornado and Boopasaurus, take it away for us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pack the Bro Overwatch Open Division. Like they said, I am Boopasaurus here with the venerable HamTornado, and we shall be referred to as Hamasaurus from here on out. We're one entity living this caster dream. How you doing today, Evie?
Feeling good. I mean, I'm actually kind of feeling the Boopnado too. That's always a good option. A little bit of column A, a little bit.
Exactly. Like good partnerships start with a combination of names, celebrity couples, and then I guess that's the only other thing I can think of right now. But it's appropriate, and I know I'm right. But more about this game right now. We have the Spicy Space Pirates versus Timeless. The Space Pirates are coming in at a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of Swiss being 0-1 so far, and if you guys don't know this just yet, Swiss is so important here at the beginning to get those early wins.
Yeah, exactly. So as Rapture and Blank covered, they will be reseeded every week to try and make those matchups a little bit more even. But of course, coming into the first week, we do have Spicy Space Pirates coming up against Timeless, who are 1-0. It is also just worth mentioning a little bit that there is a slight SR difference, so something to take into account as we go into these games. But we are going to be starting off today with Oasis. So Control Classic. This is a map type where we can see all kinds of different team compositions run.
Yeah, exactly. And the coolest thing about Oasis is all three stages are very, very different. You've got Gardens, which we'll see a lot of Farah on. We'll see a lot of different kinds of team comps on each one of these maps. Teams will favor Dive and that Winston on most of these maps, but there are going to be some really cool picks coming in, hopefully, as we get into this game. And so we did have a quick pause there, but we're going to get right back into it. And seeing these teams go on, I think especially here on Swiss in the first couple matches, you really want to open this up with the win. It sets you up in terms of momentum and confidence going forward, since we mentioned before, there are thousands of other teams here, you got to position yourself in the best way.
Yeah, and I think, Boop, you mentioned the mental game going into this, and that cannot be understated. I mean, this is going to be a best-of-5 set, starting up with Control, so you will have multiple opportunities to try and, get your foot forward. But this opening match, if you could set yourself up with a really nice round win right off the bat, you're going to be feeling so good moving forward.
Exactly, especially since these teams probably haven't had a lot of time to research each other, right? Spicy Space Pirates are a little bit more well-known, and that actually, in terms of this kind of tournament, can be a disadvantage, with established strategies and a player.
Yeah, a little bit more tape on them.
Exactly. And, in the Genji player, top 500 Genji player on Ninja is, is something that people are well aware of, as Blank said earlier today. But we are about to start this round. We are 5 seconds into getting the second game of the Path to Pro Overwatch Open Division going, and we are going to take a look at the team comps just real quick. And it looks like we have Pharmacy on both sides so far. So in that situation, they're going to kind of have to decide, am I going to go after the other Pharah, or am I going to go after the ground troops and kind of open up the point for everybody? And that's really common here. Something we're not seeing is Sombra, and we could see a switch depending on who loses his first Pharmacy battle. But right now, the Zenyatta does have the Discord Orb on it. The Winston is this kind of scrappy fight that always opens with, does end up being in the favor of Timeless so far with 3 easy kills, as the Pharahs are still focusing on each other. But right now, Ninja does have the height advantage, but that doesn't matter as all of the kill feed is blue. And the first flip right now is for Timeless.
There we go. The first couple of kills coming forward, getting Daria, that Mercy, out of the fight early on was the linchpin of that one fight for Timeless there. I mean, you had Ninja Spawn. You might be top 500 in Overwatch, but without your Mercy at your back, you're just going to be a giant sitting duck in the middle of the air. And now we take a look at the ultimate advantage as well. Daria about 50% less than Kisa towards that Valkyrie, which is going to be a huge advantage moving in. Valkyrie, not only do you have the possibility of a resurrection on a board, but that damage boost as well, that chain damage boost and chain healing can't be understated.
All right, and that Valkyrie does pop off. Neko is going to need to take that res. You see it really common. The Zenyatta goes down and then the res comes out. But right now we do have a little bit of an even fight, as Fred is going to turn it up right now and get the Diva out of that mech, and then Rayzon's going to get the Zenyatta kill. When you get those supports, that means the game can be over, but Rayzon is going to get an SD and get the Pharmacy combo with Kissa going down. That means that this is an opportunity for Spicy Space Pirates to take the point.
Yeah, Spicy Space Pirates is just an inevitability at this point. Rock is going to try his best to just stall for a little bit more time. I mean, Timeless, they're doing quite well, up to over 60% now before the final clip does come through. What an incredible Diva self-destruct from Rayzon there. I mean, not only one member of the Pharmacy, you got 2 birds, 1 stone, or 1 exploding bomb, as it were. However, moving back into this game, Jobby will have that barrage up, trying to open up the point with that ultimate. However, the rest of Spicy Space Pirates, they are stacked in terms of ultimates. Ninja Bong himself will have those rockets on hand, ready, waiting to lay them in, potentially on the heads of Timeless as they try to slowly make their way through these choke points. No Lucio on board for either of these teams.
Yeah, so Fred did throw that pulse bomb and didn't get nothing. I believe it could have been eaten, but Din's going to get the pulse bomb on the Mercy, and then we do have another Diva self-destruct, getting a mech and 2 kills as well. But the Reds coming down on Neko, getting that Zenyatta back up. That's going to give Timeless the advantage here going on to this point. And, you know, usually we say the Oasis points are so hard to flip, but we've seen 2 of them so far, as Timeless is going to get started more percentage going, 65% on the board for that.
Yeah, so Spicy Space Pirates not going to be able to eclipse Timeless percent take at this point, but interestingly, as we move on further into this game, it's become like basically a giant battle of ultimates, this huge showdown. And luckily for Spicy Space Pirates, they may have given up that point, but they still have 3 ults online. Rayzon with that Diva Bomb going to be looking to get in that repeat performance potentially. And of course, both Pharahs are still going to be looking to display their rocket prowess as they're taking to the air.
Ooh, 2 middies coming out of Jobby there, getting the Pharah counterpart down. And we do have a rocket barrage going to follow that right up. Nothing going so far, but Scrudy and Rayzon are going to get some extra kills to try to even this up. Right now, it is looking so good for Spicy Space Pirates as they do have the man advantage. The Mercy's going to come in, and Adderman is going to go ahead and pop that Primal Rage, push and pull people off of that point with those knuckles. But right now, the stall is real coming from Timeless. They've got to get all of the players off of that point because they got to flip it. So right now, Spicy Space Pirates are in a position where if they lose one fight, they could lose the round. But, you know, even though we've seen a lot of flips so far, Oasis can be tough to flip.
Oasis can definitely be tough, especially when you're going up against this barrage. I mean, Ninja Spawn, I'm going to believe that this is going to be some kind of hella barrage coming in. He's been holding this ultimate the entire round, basically. Now we're coming back in. It's
here it is. And so the Rocket Barrage is going to go down and not get anybody, as Scrudy is going to get the headshots on its den, doing his best Jonak impression. The Valkyrie does get popped off for Spicy Spice Pirates. That is going to help his team survive this point. And as of right now, that res is going to make this definitely in the favor in terms of numbers for Spicy Space Pirates as they do take the point. And looking at the ult economy on the other side, it's actually looking pretty even, but the support ults are coming in strong for Neko and that Transcendence for Timeless. This is going to be an even fight coming up for the victory at this point.
Oh yeah, certainly neck to neck in terms of Ultra Pulse Bomb and Transcendence, each a Diva Bomb as well. So it's going to come down to an order of operations. Diva self-destruct out there, but the kill feed is entirely blue. Neko once again finds the head of Fred. That was the wrong side of a volley to be on, my friend, but Ryzon unerringly finds Kissa once again. This poor Mercy cannot catch a break.
So the Mercy is down once again, and like Ham said, the Mercy is so important to getting these points, and right now the point is going into the favor of Timeless with some really good picks coming out of Javi and those rockets. You've got to say that right now that Pharmacy combination has been playing just a little bit better, as Instant still has a Pulse Bomb. Overtime is going, as they got to get that last Tracer. Fred is not doing the damage he needs to be doing to take people down, but that's not his job right now. His job is just to stall. Daria's going to come in and not get the stall either, as the flip happens, 100% to 99%. What a great start to this match, as Timeless takes the first round on Oasis.
Could not ask for a more even fight, Boop. 100 to 99%. And the thing is that both of these teams playing extremely well. They had tools in their pockets. They knew exactly what, where, and when to apply those. I mean, Spicy Space Pirates, they came in into that fight, 5 ultimates. Maybe you could have seen some other team blow all of them in a desperation attempt to take back that point. But incredible ultimate discipline from both sides thus far. So really curious to see how things will shape up here as we move on to University. And already we start to see a slight divergence in strategy from these two teams. It will be the Reinhardt, Zarya, Junkrat on the side of Timeless up against the Roadhog on the side of SSP.
Yeah, and iRocket does fancy himself as a Reinhardt player. It is a Reinhardt main Ham. I'm sure you're going to be really
shiny. He's got the name down, right?
Exactly. That means you're a tank, hopefully in the Overwatch League one day. As the first hook goes down, doesn't get anything, and the Zarya bubbles are going to come in hot here on University. One of my favorite things about this map is how diverse the team comps can be, as a lot of these characters are completely different than what we saw in Gardens earlier. As the first team to get onto the point is Timeless, so they're going to get some advantage in positioning, but we have a Coalescence already canceled out by an Earthshatter. Those are world record ultimates, as Timeless is going to get the kills first, even though the Coalescence came out first, the Earthshatter followed. That's some tasty Reinhardt.
Hey, as we say here on Broadcast.gg, grab when you have Shatter after, and it was a record-breaking Earth Shatter, as you said, Boop. And unfortunately, Fred, he actually was able to get the hook onto the Reinhardt, stop him mid-fire strike, but it didn't matter. The rest of the Timeless team barreled through and destroyed all of SSP, taking the world's most untimely nap break.
And then so Adderman's actually at 57%, so iRocket has almost lapped him in terms of ultimate economy thus far. But the energy is getting strong for that Zarya. Neka's going to get a boop kill on Adderman, and the tire's going to go off and get 2. And iRocket's going to finish it off with a great pin on Fred on that Roadhog, and that is going to be another easy win so far for Timeless, who is looking so good so far. Bryson doesn't switch off to Diva if something wasn't working, but what isn't working for them right now is their ultimates. I believe they've only been able to get 1 off all game.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Just look at this ultimate disadvantage. Ults aren't everything, but when you're running this quad tank, it certainly helps. There's a Graviton Surge, Earth Shatter online for the side of Timeless, as well as, sustaining ultimates from both of their supports.
Oh, and we do have the grab come down. The shield is still up. He's going to have to turn and protect his team, but couldn't protect everybody as the mech and the Junkrat do go down. And look how far they're pushing. Timeless is pushing them towards their spawn right now, almost doing a spawn camp. But iRocket's going to get another kill on Studi, who's trying to get on the left side and flank and reposition. And because of that repositioning, he is out of the game thus far, as 82%, easy 82%. For the side of Timeless. And I wish I could say in terms of ult economy, Spicy Space Pirates is catching up. That's not the case, Ham.
I mean, they are just now coming into a couple here. One of the difficulties running this quad tank is when the enemy team has an advantage, it's so difficult to break through. But Ninja Spawn's Tyrant is going to look to be the keystone for this fight for his team.
Oh!
There we go. Finds a 2K. Fred throwing in that whole hog as well, turning all of Timeless into mincemeat. And there we have it. As overtime ticks down, SSP claim their first point cap.
Like you said, SSP finally taking that point cap, and it's actually looking good so far, but there's nothing more nervous than a 99% to 0. It's going to happen anywhere. University is, I think, a really common place for this to happen, but right now, Timeless and their tanks are playing very, very well. 69%, getting closer to that Graviton Surge, and that's going to want to combo with everything else that they have at their disposal right now. Really great Zarya combo. Javi's going to go ahead and throw out that heal, and that Riptire is going to do absolutely something to his counter part, which is Ninja Spawn. He's a top 500 player, but right now he is just dead as the team is following up on that kill. It is now a 5v6 and a really, really great sound barrier, but also really great transcendence coming from Scruty. And then all of the ults are coming out as 4 get into the Graviton Surge, and Timeless follows that up with some kills. And finally, the Z-Mech is going to go down, and this is going to be a quick take for Timeless and probably over the map.
It's looking dicey. Spicy Space Pirates, they have to put a toe onto the point if they want to keep this in contestation, but with a Diva Bomb in your face, there's no way in. Sorry about that. And so Timeless with a very dominant performance there on University, much more so than we saw with them on Gardens.
Yeah.
Check out this play of the game from Jobby. In that last fight, it was, you may have seen that just a whole bunch of tanks swinging, particle effects going willy-nilly, but it was actually that Earth Shatter to draw out that Transcendence, which, is a move any support player would make any day of the week. But unfortunately, Timeless had many other tools still left in their back pocket. All right, you have the Transcendence to save your team from that Earth Shatter. Graviton Surge comes in next, perfectly timed as that massive amount of healing comes down, and then it was a game over. Coalescence to finish things up, spraying everybody down, hosing them down with that lemonade cannon. And so Timeless, they take the first win in today's series. Yeah,
so they're going to go up 1-0, and like we said earlier, that momentum is going to hopefully bring them forward and try to get their team victories. But I want to see a series. I'm really looking forward to Spicy Space Pirates taking this next map, even this out, so we can keep watching some really good Overwatch. But something else that was really good that we saw in that game was the tank play, specifically on the Reinhardt on iRocket, getting a super fast Earth Shatter. And, the fact that Reinhardt got his ultimate at the same time as Moira, who is considered one of the easiest to get easiest to get to the top of that Coalescence, that Reinhardt had it ready and knew it was coming almost, heard the cue, slammed down that Earth Shatter.
Yeah, I mean, enough can't be said about great aggro Reinhardt made myself. I feel like I plug this every single time I cast, but it's true. I mean, it's not only visually appealing, but you can do so much for your team. Just even in the mind game, as we mentioned earlier, if you are able to put the fear of, the fear of the shatter in the heart of your enemy.
Just happened to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no. And then I felt the fear, and then my lungs seized up, and the phlegm came up. Yeah, no. But yeah, so you can change how the enemy team pushes their front line without doing anything. If the other Reinhardt is afraid that you're extremely aggro, you're going to shatter, you've been doing so much damage. It's that mind game once again when it comes down to that shield battle. Super important.
I think that's one of the most important parts of that Reinhardt versus Reinhardt matchup, right? It's kind of like jostling for position, asserting your dominance. Like playing an aggressive Reinhardt, I think a good example would be Fraggy. Can be a mixed bag of results. Sometimes you get your ult before the point opens. Other times you give the other team the point. And right now, that's the difference to seeing a really great Reinhardt and one that's good at the character, and kind of that balance of when to unleash that aggressive Reinhardt. But something else that will probably be unleashed on us is potentially some pirate ship, as we are now on Junkertown.
That's right. Moving on into our next map of today, it will be Junkertown, favorite stomping ground of our two Australian misfits. And both of these teams, Timeless and Spicy Space Pirates, I'm bot showing that Roadhog early on. There is going to be Roadhog and Junkrat most likely also on the side of Timeless. I mean, this is classic. It's once again, though, going to come down to the shield and hook war in this case.
Yeah, the halt and hook on both sides, most likely, as we've seen this comp just work so well on Junkertown. And this is one of the most snowbally maps, isn't it, Ham?
Yeah, especially, the spawn distances are just so far from the defense at this point. And once you get rolling with that comp, you get a couple of good Roadhog hooks in, puts you so much farther ahead of your enemy Roadhog in terms of ultimate charge. Of course, it is also definitely worth mentioning that there are two Widows on the field, at least early on here in spawn. Itzden will be going up against Sketch. So Junkertown is unique in that the team comps that are meta here are very pick-based, right? Sure, you have that shield war, but you get a good hook in, you get a good headshot, and you've instantly swung the fight in favor of your team.
Yep, and we were talking about mentality, and what greater character to talk about your mental strength than Widowmaker, as Sketch and Itzden is going to hopefully they're going to put on a show and take each other out a couple times. And the number one rule when defending against Pirate Ship is by far do not let the Bastion set up. so the halt is actually going to go behind the shield. The hook is going to go a little early, mistime that, and now Rayson's going to get hooked himself, but Instant going to start it off with a good headshot, and Sketch is going to say, hey man, you got my teammate, I'm going to get some of you, and gets a headshot off of his counterpart on it, Widow, and this is exactly what they want running this composition so far, as they do get under the first choke point here on Junkertown.
Yeah, that was actually a really beautiful hook from Aimbot to open that fight up. Ryzon was caught utterly out of position there. It was no problem for Neko on the Bastion to mow him down. Instant as well. Winning that Widow battle against Sketch is going to be huge. However, see the Junkrat tire coming in, and there we have it. Teams have gotten so much better at sniping those tires out from the air. I mean, alas, Tire, your theme song used to be Jaws, dun 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 dun, but now it's, you know, the ice cream man jingle.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some like ring around the rosy, maybe, right? Oh man, I love ice cream. But anyway, going back to this game, because if we blink, Streets phase might be over, because statistically, this is one of the easiest points to capture, and especially when you have that Bastion, you have the momentum going down. Spicy Space Pirates on the red side are feeling so good right now, especially since Neko's going to open it up with a kill on Sketch, and Instant is going to get another pick on Adderman. Not a headshot, but those body shots are going to loosen them up for you and get you keep going. And so the payload is moving, and they've got 5 minutes to get to the end of the map. And like I said, if you blink, this part might go away, because you can technically win one and a half fights before the end of the Streets phase.
Yeah, absolutely. A Streets phase is a phase of the map where it really requires the defense to have a strong setup here. You can't be trickling Ryzon there. You saw he got caught out and taken down. It will prompt a switch over onto the Diva. It is worth it mentioning that neither team was running that hero before this point. But NinjaSpawn actually going to have that Transcendence forced out, but it's not going to help his teammate Fred at all against that Widowmaker's headshot. Battle Bongo out now, and we're going to have that Dragon Strike come through, cleaving through the team. It does split them up, not doing too much damage.
All right, and so Neko is still on the point. He has no shields around him, but he's got death around him as the mech does come out, and he also gets Daria, the Mercy player. And so this is kind of an opening, but NinjaSpawn using that Transcendence to get to the point earlier is now getting those kills as well. And Timeless putting up a really good defense as Roadhog is the last to go down. They finally get to reset. Really good stall. They actually wasted about a minute trying to get to that last portion of the map, but now there's no ult autonomy on the side of Spicy Space.
Yeah, that's right. And we see some wholesale swaps coming out from the blue team. They're going to go almost full dive, except keeping that Junkrat on hand. Why not? You know, we have the Tire at the ready, and that can certainly derail that pirate ship. Timeless, though, they're on the ball, savvy to their defensive plans. There's also going to be wholesale swaps there. It's been sticking with that Widow, but instead, Javi on that Genji.
And so they're going to try to position once again to try to take this fight, and the ults do come out. Sketch is going to get an early kill on Zenyatta with that pulse bomb. Valkyrie going to bring him right back up, but no kill on that Mercy. She's standing still, Tracer. It's your job to try to get her and stop that res. The fire in the hole, as everyone gets nervous, but Instant's going to use that scope and take out Fred's Tire. No Tire for you. They still have a better positioning, Spicy Pirates do, on the payload right now, as the dive does come in, as Diva goes towards the blue side, going to come right back out, and we do have a war of attrition right now on the payload, as the tanks are diving in, doing the damage, but Fred is going to get the kills. Instant, you gotta stay alive, man. Get those headshots. If that's not happening, your team's not going to be able to attack any longer. But Adderman's going to get a kill on to Genji, which is going to be a huge deal for the blue side. And Valkyrie's Daria is going to keep him alive. The support ultimates are coming out, Ham. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Neko decides to invest a Transcendence into a lost fight. Javi, one of your main damage dealers, is down out of the fight. Perhaps they thought that Kissa would be able to get that resurrection off with that buffering zone from the Transcendence healing. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. We saw that Aimbot fell shortly thereafter. So Spicy Face Pirates, they've finally been able to get a little toehold on this defense. Best news for them is that the Tire is still up. However, Transcendence is down for both teams. Timeless, they were able to get that ultimate out of NinjaSpawn very early on, so now the door is wide open for Javi to Julianne up this defense and find this point B take.
All right, and then we do have a Genji Blade as well as a self-destruct, spreading the team around, and I think that probably opened NinjaSpawn up for that kill right there, and the Wheel of Death comes out, but no Wheel of Fortune for you, as Instant is going to get another kill on Fred's Tire. The self-destruct on the payload is not going to get anybody anybody as well, but Javi starting to pop off on that Genji, trying to get Fred out of the way, and that's exactly what he does with some really good right clicks. And now the point is finally open for Timeless. This potentially could be the point for them, but almost 4 minutes taken off the clock. And what we said earlier, it's arguably one of the faster phases of Joker Count.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Spicy Space Pirates holding fairly well, especially given how quickly they were rolled on point A. We have Instant sticking with this Widowmaker pick. Hasn't been finding a lot of great shots, getting not very comfortable necessarily from the dive coming in from the Spicy Space Pirates defense, but if nothing else, able to snipe out those tires. Poor Fred, I think he's 0 for 3, and that's not really a record you want to be coming out of the first week of Open Division with. Now we're moving on, Javi once again very close to that blade, however, that sword may be dulled by the Transcendence from Ninja Spong as the dive goes in.
Yeah, and the Valkyrie is going to come out from it, Kissa as well, and Transcendence is going to try to mitigate a lot of that damage, and that's exactly what's going on, as Javi's going to throw out that Genji blade and try to make things happen, and he does with getting the kill on the support, and Einbach going to get the SD kill on his opponent's support as well. So no supports available for Spicy Space Pirates right now, as Ryson's going to try to move up and get nothing as the platform does keep the Diva Bomb. That was probably intentional, and now the tanks are going face to face, but Javi is going to take out Addernan. This is looking really good for Timeless so far, as the attack is still going to move forward as we enter most likely the hardest portion of Junker Town.
Yeah, both of these teams not really going for full resets here. Timeless, they want to continue to apply this pressure, give Instant as much room as possible on this Widowmaker. And Javi has really put on his carry pants, if nothing else, getting all of those finishing dash throughs to confirm the kills onto the Spicy Space Pirates defense. However, now he has swapped off onto the Junkrat.
Yeah, so, which is it's an interesting switch, especially since the Genji has been working so well for him. But he got rid of the blade, and now he's going to go on to that Junkrat, which can picks and open up the point. As the Primal Rage is going to come out for iRocket, try to get the last few inches. Might have used that a little early at this point. Maybe might have died instead. But Instant's going to try to... He's going to get Adderman out as well, and right now, spawns are an advantage for Spicy Space Pirates, but the payload is still moving, as Sketch with that Discord Orb is going to go down to some Neko left clicks. Zarya's going to come in on that Lucio and try to stall the point out even more, but that's not what's happening. But the positioning here on the stall is actually really, really cool, as there's still some movement that needs to happen before they get to the end of the round. And Junker Count is really, really hard to finish, guys. Einbot's going to try to keep this payload going. Lots of kills coming out of the side of Timeless right now, and we hear it, guys. The Genji blade comes out, and Fred, just like his tires, does get taken down by Javi once again. No ultimates for you, but Ryson's going to even it up with the 2 kills, but Einbot going to get another one. 4 Diva kills in just 2 seconds. That's Overwatch, guys. That stuff is amazing. And right now, the stall is real. 2 seconds left on the clock. This will go to overtime, Ham, and I don't know who's going to take it as the tire comes out. Javi getting Fred once again with the ultimate. Javi taking care of Fred like nothing, and now the payload just creates. The numbers are in favor for Timeless, but right now the spawns are in favor of Spicy Space Pirates, and that is a red team victory. Timeless, really good stall from Spicy Space Pirates. They did finish the map, which puts them in really great contention to try to win the round.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, Timeless have guaranteed themselves at least one more round if SSP are able to also finish out that map. But what an incredible last point fight from both of these teams. I mean, as you mentioned, Boop, Spicy Space Pirates stall was incredible. I thought that when Timeless was able to take down Ninja Spawn very early on, he had just come into that Transcendence, but kudos to the tank line. Winston was able to get just enough stall so that Timeless, they weren't able to, the time to kill, unfortunately, was a little bit too long between getting that payload there and finally finishing off the last couple of stragglers from that SSP defense. So the Transcendence bought them just enough time to take Timeless into an overtime fight.
And so coming into this round, Spicy Space Pirates definitely had some good things going for them. Mm-hmm. They gave up a really, really fast, about 5.5 minutes to try to get the brought them all the way down to 1.5 minutes, and they ended the map with no time. That could have gone way worse than it did, but really good patience, being really reactive to the situation at hand. Spicy Space Pirates giving them a shot at finishing this map and getting to further rounds. And this is a map that can get to 5 and 6 points. We'll see if we get an opportunity to get there, but first, Spicy Space Pirates, you have one job to do, and that's to finish Junkertown.
Yeah, the win conditions are clear. You have to complete all 3 points here. To do so, Ninja Spawn going to be picking up the DPS. It was worth mentioning, top 500 player was actually on the Zenyatta support hero this time around on their defensive phase. But here now, he will be on the Bastion, looking to cleave his way through this timeless defense, the same that was done to them, hoping to force them to swallow that very bitter pill. However, Jobby will be on this Junkrat once again. He played very well, an intelligent pick towards that third end, knowing third point, knowing that Junkrat is an excellent pick against the Junkrat, against the Tracer and the Genji flankers that SSP were running. No Genjis though. It's not going to be swords, mostly bullets here, as we have Sketch and Fred both on this dual sniper.
Yeah, and so it is not a Shimada-less game, as we do have the other brother Hanzo getting a really great scatter arrow pick. Rest in peace here soon on Instant on the opposing sniper. That's a fair and balanced move for sure, but the payload is moving right now, and 38% for that Dragon Strike. That is going to potentially open up the point to get to the end of this map. That's 86%. That's a lot of headshots. As we just say that Neko is going to get that headshot right into the face. Adderman's going to get his counterpart on that Orisa as well. And the sea of blue starting to happen. And just like we saw in the last game, this could potentially move all the way to the end of the point. But Instant coming on strong. You know, it was a little cold on that Widow last game, but right now, picking it up for his team, already has the wall packs up. Doing good. Oh, Caster Curse.
Yeah, Caster's Curse is real, man. Fred is doing so much work on this Hanzo, and he knows no fear, walks right up into Aimbot's face. Not sure what he was expecting other than a hook to the mouth. But nonetheless, SSP, look at this payload. It is still rolling through unintended. iRocket and Aimbot going to try their best to make some kind of presence here, but they're going to have to contend with this tank mode.
Yeah, so Z-Shake is going to come out. That does a ton of damage. Valkyrie is going to follow that up as well. The Dragon Strike is going to try to split them up, try to make that Mercy decide who to heal instead of getting a dedicated healer, but Transcendence is going to come out as well to heal up that team, so not a lot of damage going to happen right now for Spicy Space Pirates. But as I say that, Sketch and Fred, the snipers, are going to get some kills, and somehow gets to get the kill, gets the res just to have them die to ST. We saw that now yesterday. Really great time to ST is the beginning of a Mercy res, because that Mercy will die if you get the timing right, and we saw it work out so well. Some good Diva bombs that we've seen so far, especially here in Junkertown.
Absolutely, Diva game on point today from both sides. Ryzon, though, he is the current leaderboard, head of the leaderboard with that beautiful 3K. And Sketch now able to set up camp here on the high ground. He finds the pick onto Jobby. As their timeless, they're going to be in the same position as SSP in the earlier round. They need to figure out a way to set up this defense, make use of that shield. It's a huge shield, but if you don't have your entire team behind it, it's basically pointless. It'll be the battle of the Dragon Strike versus Jobby the Tire, trying to even things out here, and it does manage to find Ninja Spawn. Alright, this is going to be where Timeless will try and set up camp safe a little faster from that point. Now they need to finish up the cleanup.
That's exactly what you want to see out of that Tires. Fred is going to get a sonar headshot on Aimbot, that mini Diva. That is definitely, it feels good, man. Don't see that every day. Daria is going to get the res on Adderman, which is going to help Timeless, kind of sustain here on the point. But right now, Timeless is pushing Spicy Space Pirates back. Ninja Spawn on that Bastion still 32%, pretty close, trying to get that ultimate. Potentially, though, a switch is going to be a hand for him.
Yeah, this is interesting. Ninja Spawn very close to that tank mode, so we're going to stay with that Bastion. However, Sketch does just give up that sniper battle, gets onto the Tracer. Fred, though, still going to stay on this Hanzo, which is really interesting. Not a hero that we see very often, especially on this street space when you're not running them with a double sniper.
Yeah, and the A phase is just so wide and open, it's a lot easier to hit those hooks. As double Valkyrie comes up, they're like mirror images of each other. It's the second time in a row they both use their Valkyries at the same time. But blue side, Spicy Space Pirate does have a bongo as well, but no kills. This Instant is actually going to get the first one against Sketch, so Tracer getting the better of Tracer. Tracer going to also get the better of Fred, so no more Shimada clan for you, and he is popping off, getting 3 kills, especially on Daria, on that Mercy, and once again, Aimbot getting 4 self-destruct kills, getting 1.5, getting the mech as well. But Instant on that Tracer, doing work, doesn't even need a full spawn, just needs that left click.
Yeah, I mean, Aimbot, it may, as they say, maybe it was only 1 kill, but it's quality and not quantity. What a better way to counter a Bastion ultimate than just throwing your mech out there and turning him into dust. So now Timeless, they have finally stabilized here, and it's looking quite good. They have Instant's Pulse Bomb coming up. Jobby's only 30% away from that tire, and this is what Timeless wants to do, stall things out. You notice their positioning here. They're not holding up very far on the high ground. They're not giving SSP any free meterage at all. If you want this distance, you're going to have to fight us for it, because they know, oh, Dragon Strike comes out, not going to find any bodies this time around. But SSP, they're fighting against a 6th player here, and it is called the Clock. Timeless is trying to wear down any seconds that they can.
So the Rip Tire is going to come out. Jobby, he's been doing good work with that Rip Tire thus far. Diva's going to try to deal with it. Not going to be able to find anyone as Tracer dies before he's able to get the explosion off. And because of that, nothing on that Rip Tire. But Timeless does get 2 kills. He's going to push him back. It's got to have a reset right now. And the ultimate economy for Space Pirates is very, very weak. Valkyrie is going to help on this next fight. It's so important that you don't use that right now. Really good job, Daria, just dying because the reset needs to happen. And it's going to be all on you to get this point for Spicy Space Pirates.
It might have to shift a little bit of the burden onto Fred as well. We do see that switch come through. Hanzo, you throw out that Dragon Strike, it didn't really do anything. And that's going to be Farah coming out. A good counter for the Junkrat, but this is only 1 minute left. Unlikely to get a barrage in that time, so you're going to have to find those directs. And against the ultimate bank of Timeless is going to be a very difficult mountain to climb.
And we do have the Valkyrie get popped up from Daria. Kissa does not have one to counteract that, so the Transcendence is going to have to come down instead. And the Transcendence does save their team as Instant and iRocket are going to come up with some kills. The Self-Destruct's going to get Daria, who I believe was trying to fly to cover with that Winston, but that wasn't the case at all, as Daria and Fred, the Farmer's combo, does go down. This is looking so good for Timeless. 23 seconds. It's going to have to be a stagger on the point to keep this clock going.
Adderman, good news for SSP, though, only 20% away from that Primal Rage, one of the best stalling ultimates in the game. However, iRocket has that Orisa supercharger, that Battle Bongo, going to damage boost the entire team, and 1,000 HP going to melt into 0 in the blink of an eye. SSP, they're gathering themselves. Now Sketch is able to touch the point.
Yep, and Tracer is trying to flank behind them. Instant does get on the high ground, and it's going to maintain that positioning to try to get that ultimate charge on those tanks. At 71% of Pulse Pump can win them this round so far. iRocket does have the Discord Orb on him, but nothing going so far. And Winston does have Primal Rage, as we do have a Tire come down and get Sketch. Right now, it is an even fight. It's, I believe, a 5v5 so far, but Kiss is going to make that a little less more even with iRocket coming up with that res. Instant going to get Ninja Fong as well, and the Valkyrie is going to help Timeless get the victory and win Junkertown and go up 2-0.
A solid 2-0 as well. I mean, it's SSP, they were looking extremely lost there on the Streets phase. Once Ninja Spawn's Bastion was dismantled, it seemed like they didn't really know exactly where to throw their bullets. I mean, we had Fred sticking onto that Hanzo for an incredibly long amount of time. And unfortunately, as slow as Orisa and Junkrat are, Timeless, they knew that the Hanzo was coming out. They simply just played very scattered. You saw that Orisa was actually one of the only heroes that was even in the damage pass of that Hanzo ultimate. So very intelligent play and counterplay between both of these teams.
So really good win for Timeless. They're going up 2-0, and I do believe that we are going to go to the desk for some halftime analysis. Is that right, Ham?
I believe so. Rapture, Blank, what did you think?
Well, I gotta say, Ham and Boop, phenomenal job out there, and a pretty close 2 games there, which is a nice change of pace in this first week of Open Division EU, and as well as for NA. Rapture back on the desk for Blank, and Ham joining us. Sorry, Boop couldn't be here, but Ham kind of just pushed you off the camera. Yeah, so I'm going to throw to you, Blank, first. Went to our first map on Oasis, and honestly, I think it could have gone either way. What happened there for SSP?
Well, the first map we did see was very well played from the side of SSP. They did their best. Raystorm was doing a great job to deny the aerial control from the enemy team on Timeless. And Fred was playing this duelist assassin Tracer, most of the time making sure that its din was controlled in the backline. And by doing that, freed up a lot of space for his team to actually pressure the tanks and the supports. We saw on Junkertown, we're not going to go over there yet, but just quickly, we saw on Junkertown its din with all that free reign where Fred wasn't pressuring on the Tracer. It became a lot more of him doing a lot of the work for Timeless there. So Oasis is difficult on Gardens. They did a great job of, like I said, controlling the aerial combat. But in the end, that quad tank would be their crook.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so much health to chew through. And we saw that, going over, you mentioned Junkertown real quickly. The Bastion's coming out to deal a lot of damage in these tanks and a lot of damage through these barriers. It was working out pretty well for Timeless. SSP tried to do the same thing, but unfortunately, it didn't pan out as well. Ham, you obviously, you were there for the cast. You saw it firsthand there. You saw it slip away through Space Pirates' fingers. What was it that Timeless was doing that gave them the edge?
For Oasis?
Sure. Oasis. Let's go. We'll start right there. Oasis. What do you think was like that gave them the edge for that first map?
I mean, we saw Timeless. There were a lot of mirror compositions being run on Gardens and on University. Some very subtle differences, but unfortunately, I think that SSP relied very heavily on the ultimate game. So once we saw that the team had a whole bank of ultimates there, then they're like, okay, we'll dole out a few of these, fight-winning ultimates here and there. There was still very good ultimate discipline, which is true. But unfortunately, you're not going to have ultimates every fight. And so you need to rely a little bit more on your vanilla Overwatch, kind of that team play to focus down any single one of your opponents and try and win through those means rather than just, dumping a bunch of big ultimates and, crossing your fingers kind of like that. I think also iRocket certainly was a huge high impact player for Timeless on University. It's just a really aggressive Ryan, and anytime your Reinhardt doesn't really need to worry about shielding his team, I mean, he was actually treading that thin line between passivity and aggression very well, because oftentimes we do see these aggressive Reinhardts get themselves into trouble, charges across the map, into no man's land, straight of lot of force. But iRocket was kind of able to reel that back in. He knew exactly when and where to put in that hammer damage. Earthshatter first fight, just chef's kiss, one.
Yep, definitely the hammer. Completely agree with that. I mean, iRocket didn't have to worry too much, but I think the pick coming out from Timeless onto Roadhog was pretty crucial, though, because Adamant's shield was going down so much more than iRocket's. And I think the choice of taking D.Va there and Zarya, it meant that although it was the Junkrat from Ninja Spawn putting a lot of damage, a lot of the times he was dead before he even managed to get any of that spam out onto the shield. And then it was just a case of iRocket dropping the shield, swinging away, being that baseball player that they needed, and just smacking them back to spawn home run there. So it was really difficult for them to push on through. Over to Junkrat now, but Junkertown, not Junkrat, but I mean, he does live there.
Might as well be Junkrat's town. It's Junkrat's town.
Yeah, might as well be Junkrat's town. Yeah. Moving on to Junkertown now, though, Ham. So I personally thought that SSP kind of dropped the ball a little bit. A lot of times where Race on Oasis was saving those boosts to help his team in the back, wasn't saving the boosts anymore. Leaps weren't kept in check. The aggressive play from Timeless was just throwing them off a lot of times. What were your thoughts on?
Yeah, I think, we can take the Streets phase as kind of a comparison between the two teams, because they did play actually quite a long time there. We did see, some similar strategies. Again, the pirate ship with the Bastion Orisa shield, you have Roadhog, double sniper even coming right out of the gate for both teams. But unfortunately, that's kind of where the similarities fell apart a little bit. SSP, Timeless, they did have a little bit of an easier job. They knew that they had finished the map, and all they have to do is bite chunks off of the clock, keep SSP from finishing the map, which means that, oftentimes, even if the fight seems like it's lost, you still have some heroes there, rather than just allowing themselves to die, still stalling the payload, and the strategy becomes slightly more clear. But Timeless, I just really enjoy, as you mentioned, Blank, that aggressive defense, right? You saw where they were camping that payload, and it was right on top of the objective. They didn't want to give SSP any room for free. And unfortunately, when you're running a Hanzo like that, you do need to give him a little bit of space. He is a sniper. Definitely, you can walk up to, a tank and just scatter arrow at their feet, see if you can get a little bit of damage in that way. But he is more of a backline hero, which means that it's impendent upon, Adderman and the other tanks to try and make space for him to get work done. And unfortunately, Timeless knew exactly what SSP needed and just ripped it right out of their hands.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking about supports as well and all that aggressive defense. A lot of the times what I really saw was Mercy with the double sniper that you were talking about. There was only Mercy for support on the side of SSP. Now that's fine if you can run with it. Fred was doing the work and it gave Sketch a little bit more room on those sidelines to pick up the kills. Mercy Daya at least had to be very, very decisive with her reses. And I think at times that was lacking. Especially on Streets phase, they got through, and there was this point where they could have got it through there. There and then it could have been it. They took Street phase, but it was there where Daya decided to res Summon. Fell off of the fight, they had no more sustain, and the battle attrition was just won by Timeless because of that. And even though Ataman was alive, that fortify is only going to keep him alive for so long, and the Orisa shield breaks pretty damn fast, so they were just forced to back off. And I think that was the point where they could have pushed it through, and because of that one play, things just went badly. And with Sketch actually setting up the actual first kill meant that at the time, Timeless couldn't restabilize, but after their actual sustain was taken out of the fight, that was it. Once they restabilized, they were anchored on that point, and they were not letting go.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it really just comes down to those micro moments of decision making, and under pressure, right? What is the best move to make? And unfortunately, not being, a high level player, I can't really necessarily step into their shoes. But
don't discredit yourself. Come on.
Oh yes, no, you know me. I'm one of those.
A resident tier 500 player.
Exactly. I'm under my pseudonym. I'm a T500. meet Hurricane, right? That's my other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do bring up a good point, Blank, kind of the way that the supports played. You can certainly compare that. I believe that Kisa, every time that he went for a resurrection, basically able to get that, Timeless never really able, or SSP, never really able to punish the Mercy, even knowing that, where the dead body was, you see the Mercy flying down. So it's kind of, indicative of a larger problem for this team, I believe, which is just that focus fire, the time to kill, right? Which we saw was very noticeable also on SSP's defense of the third point, right? They had a lot of sustain. They were able to get that Zen back in, apply that Transcendence healing, but you can't just sustain forever. You have to be able to convert that into kills onto the enemy team to actually, rebuff that push.
Yeah, like you were saying with the time to kill as well, especially sometimes the Transcendence that would come out would be a little bit too late after someone already died. And I think that's more to the point that SSP weren't expecting that amount of focus fire. So it's just kind of like putting plaster on an axed wound. It's not going to do too much. And the guy receiving the plaster is not going to be too happy about it either. So you had some guys dying early. So that's unfortunate for SSP. But all in all, Timeless, man, that did playing really well. SSP definitely have the chance to. They can bring it up, close in on those micro plays that we were talking about earlier. If they can close up some of those gaps in their team play, maybe they can reverse sweep here. I'd love to see it, but already we're seeing closer games, and that's cool in my book.
Absolutely, for sure. There's definitely a possibility for a reverse sweep because it is a best of 5, and certainly SSP would love to bring it to a map 4 or 5. But we have our next map coming up. It's Hanamura for our map 3, and I think that means it's time for us to jump back into it between SSP versus Timeless. So, Ham, why don't you drag Boot back in? We're going to throw it back over to you guys to see what's going to happen here on Hanamura. How would you take it away?
All right, here we go. La, 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 la. That's the caster mating call. Just letting you in on some industry secrets over here. So, here he is. Oh, hello. There we go. All right, I think we might be ready. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Are you ready? I'm back. I had my own.
Caster curse me.
I had my own really cool host table back there that no one got to see.
Yeah.
Just by myself, just with more blackjack. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You guys had a pretty rowdy conversation over here, I saw.
Oh no, we were laying it all on the table. No holds barred right here. Analysis deep going.
All right, let's go even deeper into this game as we're gonna see 2 CP right now. How deep can you get than second point Hanamura, right? What other map could you find? Could you say that you've won 4 fights in a row and still not get the point?
Right, exactly. You could be like, oh yeah, we went 7-8. Yeah.
Exactly. And so looking at Hanamura and seeing the 2 teams fight so far, who do you think might have an advantage coming in here?
It's going to be really tough. I mean, SSP certainly have the potential. Once they get rolling, we've seen that they're able to use those ultimates very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Team wipes every time on, Oasis Gardens. However, there's a big however, because Timeless, they just appear to have slightly better game sense.
Mm-hmm.
See, they're focusing targets down very efficiently. And unfortunately, when it does come to assault, oftentimes it is kind of that battle of attrition, like who can mind game the other team.
Right.
The defense, they have the spawn advantage, but offense, they can choose when and where to start that engagement.
So Timeless, like you said, has been showing that game sense and kind of that togetherness. And I think kind of to hark back on a point that you said earlier, you could really see that with those Mercy reses, right? They were able to get those reses almost every single time. Right. And so when you're allowed to do that, Mercy's in such a vulnerable position. Not all of those reses were in safe spots. You got to know that it's happening and have someone on that Mercy the whole time. Something that we see a lot of really high level teams do is just we saw it actually here with the Diva Bomb. The Mercy, the Mercy res started and threw the bomb and got both characters and a mech. And so knowing when those opportunities arise is huge, especially here in team play.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's all these small little bits of tech that do end up adding into, potentially a fight win, a map win, right? And so, interestingly, Timeless, the teams have swapped sides again. SSP, they are showing Fred once again on the Hanzo. Unlikely that they're going to be rolling out with that. Otterman and Ryzon, though, on those dive tanks, Winston and Diva. This is a little bit more of that classic look, but on the Timeless side, iRocket on the Reinhardt, not something we see very often.
Well, iRocket, I believe, played Reinhardt on Oasis on University and got that world record Earth Shatter. Maybe might be able to get it on this map as well. We will see. I do love that we do have a Reinhardt going. We might see a switch if it's not working out right away. He does need to get that Earth Shatter really, really fast. Something else that we're seeing as well on the attacking side is a death on Neko going in strong. It's like, hey guys, I'm coming in, but Ninja Spong saying, I got some Helix rockets for your face, and Fred's got some more arrows for the rest of your team, and that is a full reset there to start this off. That is exactly how you want to start the half from Spicy Space Pirates.
Oh yeah, Helix rockets not nearly as good for your skin as those face masks and stuff. I'd rethink your beauty routine, Timeless. But it is interesting. Fred still on this Hanzo. Now this is unusual.
Yeah, especially since Fred played so well on some other characters. Maybe not the Junkrat tires, but had some really good DPS games. Dragon Strike is almost online, definitely the closest ultimate so far. Nothing is going to be able to kind of wombo combo that, but Fred's going to get the kill on Kissa with that headshot. So that's going to be a really big kill. That's going to give them 5v6. That's almost a reset, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen with Fred throwing that Dragon Strike out immediately. And Daria, maybe not necessary, maybe it wasn't necessary to get that res, but wanted to make sure the team was at full strength for this next push.
I mean, you might as well. Timeless is a team that does like to apply a lot of pressure, even when 5v6. So Resurrection's off the table for both of these Mercies. However, Spicy Space Pirates, Daria will be much, much closer to that Valkyrie, which once again is can be a huge tide turner, but gonna have to save that ultimate for the next fight.
And then, so the self-destruct is more for the mech reset there, as the Mercy is a down so far. Daria and Nikita are going to come back, but Daria, like you said, is way further along on that Valkyrie, and It's Din is going to get some more arrows to the head. Fred, we talked about how the pick was a little awkward, but right now it's not awkward at all, as Fred is getting those picks and those Dragon Strikes so fast, and the support ultimates for the defense team is going to be huge. This tire, though, is going to come out and hopefully get some players on the side of Timeless, and it doesn't look like that's happening so far. You still hear the rumble. Is it going to happen? Everyone's quiet, and the tire explodes with nothing to it. The Transcendence, though, is going to come out from Spicy Space Pirates. It's going to try to do this last kind of stand as the support player here on the point, and then the self-destruct's going to come out as well. These ultimates not really getting anything, as iRocket's going to come in with 2 kills and open up the point so far. The attacking team does have spawn advantage here, but one thing that Ninja Spawn does have is attack visor and homing missiles there with those bullets, but really not going to get anything out of that. It's some really good aggression forcing him out of that area, making sure that attack visor doesn't do anything. And we now, like we said earlier, we talked about the war of attrition. That's exactly what's happening right now. So you have 1 minute and 8 seconds left on the clock, and a really good opportunity for Timeless to finally finish up the cap.
Yeah, it's SSP bringing out some really unorthodox strategies here. Timeless, it did prompt wholesale swaps. iRocket onto the Winston, and then It's Din onto the Widowmaker to try and challenge out the Hanzo in terms of long-range damage. But once Timeless figured out kind of the strategy that they wanted to go with, once again, they just decided to pile onto the point. All right, okay, we're here, we're capping it, right? You got to come here and try and face us, and unfortunately, SSP just not able to do that. Yep, and so Fred will swap onto the Genji now. Again, a very unusual pick that we don't see very often.
Especially on defense.
On defense here on Hanamura. So he will have his work cut out for him, especially with Javi's Tire coming up again.
Yeah, so the Javi's Tire is going to be a crucial coming in here for the attacking team, as just a couple kills can open up at least one tick for them. And not going to be able to get the Mercy, as Mercy is really high up in the air so far. The Tire is just surging, doesn't want to get killed by the ST, as it does have a little bit more life for that. Goes over the shield, doesn't get any kills so far. There were some bodies there, but no kills. And Instant's going to start it off with a kill on Daria, which is going to be followed up by a Transcendence from Neko, who has been in the game for a while. It's good to see you back, man. Fred's going to come in with a Swift Strike, and it's going to be one of the last people left on the point. Fred's going to get taken out by that Conk Mine, and the red team, Timeless, coming up with a sea of blood on that kill feed, and potentially, it's 2 CP, guys, so there's definitely going to be a couple more fights coming in here, as Adderman's going to try to delay the point. Strudy's going to get 1 touch on it, and no more touches for the point on the side of Spicy Space Pirates. It's Timeless going to get 2 points with 3.5 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, goodness gracious there. What an incredible snowball. I mean, okay, so Javi's Tire, sure, it didn't get any actual kills, but you saw he was dancing all around that point, and you know, if nothing else, that means that you can split up the team. We had the Zenyatta all the way back in spawn. He had the 2 tanks desperately trying to huddle together for warmth, I guess, in the small mini room to the right side of the point, and that with the enemy team thus dismembered, is no problem for Timeless to pick apart the team slowly one by one. And so that was just excellent, once again, game sense coming in from this team to know what the win conditions to take that point were. If you can keep the trickle weak enough, the defense, they're never going to be able to reestablish as a full 6.
It's just a one-on-one at that point. 1v6 is over and over again. And I really want to point out that Transcendence on the point after the first pick from Itzden on that Widowmaker, I believe. Well, there was one pick coming in from a Timeless, and then Transcendence followed to do an aggressive push onto the point, and eventually that ended up winning them the whole thing with some really good tank play as well. So Spicy Space Pirates going to come into this down 2-0 with 3.5 minutes left in the time bank for Timeless. That's a pretty good time. It's a beatable time. And then, you know, we want to get into extra rounds, but they definitely want to see this and capture the second point with time in the bank.
Yep, it's all about time. So Timeless, maybe they have a little bit of an unfair advantage. They snapped up that name first up.
Exactly.
Spicy Space Pirates, though, hey, they're spicy, right? They can still bring it, especially if they once again try something unorthodox, right? And Timeless, they showed that they weren't really sure how to work around that Hanzo pick. No Hanzo on the field this time around, though it will be Fred on a different sniper, the purple French lady Widowmaker Ninja Sprong on the Genji. So hopefully they'll find a little bit more traction with this team composition. But once again, flankers like Genji always got to watch out for those mines from Javi's Junkrat.
Yeah, and this is what Ninja is known for. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. He's been playing support, but right now he's playing his bread and butter, which is that Genji. And this is a very, very good Widowmaker map, some really good sight lines, and 1 kill can open up point A for your team and get a quick capture. As we do finally have Spicy Space Pirates going in, going to push Aimbot back to the point and get a little bit more room so they can push through the gates. But however, Ryson and Ninja Spawn are getting low, so is Strudy, so they're going to need to come heal up, give Daria some of that ult charge. But Daria's not going to get any more, as the Boop is going to come in and kill them. And usually when we see that Mercy fall, the rest of the team falls as well, as iRocket is going to try to get Ninja Spawn. It finally does. Instin's going to get the kill instead, a little bit of a kill still there. Fred's going to get a kind of like a, you know, an emotional...
Yeah,
you know,
an emotional bandage kill.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay, dude. We got the Winston.
We got the Winston, guys. We're good to go.
Hey,
but
it is worth mentioning though that the defense has no mercy, so that those single picks can really matter here. Neko on the Ana, going to have a nano boost though for her troubles. This will likely go on to iRocket when he comes back, or perhaps Aimbot.
Oh. But Adderman's going to get the kill, but Instin's going to actually even it up with Fred. The kiss kill, though, is way more effective, but that's not going to matter, as Instant and Neko are going to get the DMAC and the Mercy. And like we said last time, Daria died last time, dies with 99%, no ultimate for her, and nothing is going to be coming on the side of progress for Spicy Space Pirates for this point A. But now they probably have their best opportunity for the rest of the game is right now as they push in.
There's about a 5-second window before Kisa has that Transcendence for Ninja Spawn to pull the blade. Unlikely to happen, but he does still have tanks on his line who could apply some pressure onto that Zenyatta forced that Transcendence early. Jobby goes down first, and this is exactly the win conditions for SSP.
Yeah, so the support ultimates do come down. Daria does pop that ult, and it's going to give Fred the extra damage that they need for those kills. As Fred's going to get 2 kills and finally open up the point. And Self-Destruct not going to get anything, and that is absolutely huge for the side of the Spicy Space Pirates, because a kill would have gotten them the point for sure. But you don't need the Self-Destruct. You got the rest of your team. Hey guys, this is a team game. Remember that? And finally, Spicy Space Pirates looking like a little bit of life in their hands. Minute 34 left on the clock so far as the cap does take place. 5 minutes to get the second point.
I mean, they got a little bit more than life in their hands. They have 3 ultimates to Timeless's 0. Of course, Jobby very close to that tire. Definitely going to be seeking out Ninja Spawn. He actually didn't have to use that blade in the last fight, which is going to be huge for SSP, as Kisa did throw in that Transcendence, so no direct counter for that ultimate.
And they are going to try this the first push on it to the point. The Pulse Bomb is not going to get anything, but we do hear the yelling and the tire, as the Dragon Blade's not going to get anything, as Jobby's going to kill it with the tire, as well as the Diva mech. And Ryson with that baby Diva is actually going to get, get some kill and some damage there on instant. Fred's going to finish that off, and Timeless is going to have a really easy hold here, and all of the ultimates did go down for Spicy Space Pirates. That's what we call a junk rush.
I mean, yeah, they kind of toileted all of those ultimates. They had a huge opening there, but unfortunately, between the Junkrat tire and actually a really excellent nade coming in from Neko and Tide, that Genji made it so that he couldn't receive any kind of healing from his own team, forced to run away from both, the aggressors, and that Rip tire stuffed that push from SSP in its infancy.
How great is it to see Anna, by the way? Neko with that nano ulti. I know, me too. She's so fun to watch too. But anyway, get back to the game. Neko does have that nano, and thinking that they're probably going to wait for iRocket to get that nano on there. Probably not going to use it while from Rage, just it's a waste of damage at that point. And Fred is going to get a kill on Instant. That's going to help the attacking team right now. And the D-Max Diva is not going to help either, as Ibot's going to go low, but Transcendence is going to come and save them, but not before Jobby gets killed by Fred. And that headshot, and the Valkyrie comes out from it. Daria, they're going to take this fight, even though it is 5v6 and one person is coming down, but Dragon Blade's going to come out as well, as Ninja Spawn's going to get both supports we talked about, and the baby Diva. We talked about how awesome it is to see Anna so far, and Ninja Spawn said, I heard that. It's not awesome for me. You're going to go down, as Fred's going to kind of get these kills going even more. So another really great push. We got 2 ticks. This thing is close. Let's see if the stall is going to be able to come out, as Aimbot and Neko do come out at the same time. Self-Destruct is going to make this way harder to keep than it needs to be, as Adderman is going to continue getting those kills, but Jobby's going to come back and actually even that with 2 on 2 CP. This could be all they need, just the 2 kills, but Daria is going to get the res on Scrudy, and this is still 5 people on the point for Spicy Space Pirates.
Duke is out now from Neko, desperation time, but you can see that Fred is set up on that high ground. Nobody will be moving it, just putting in so much free damage. D-Max, iBot, and that should just be the end of the line for Timeless. This is an incredible amount of stall coming out. But in the end, especially against that chain damage, with chain healing coming out from Daria, it's going to be very difficult for them to sustain here. And of course, in the blink of an eye, as the point ticks up, more bodies that you have there from the offense, Timeless not going to be able to hold in the end.
There was a second there right before the game ended where I thought it was gonna, I thought we were gonna see classic Dronamura, right? Where
no May though.
Exactly.
So
where I thought they were gonna pull it back. They kept I guess the order of that stagger was really important. As they, they had 2 DPS go on there, or a support and a DPS, and the tanks would stagger out right after that. If that was just a different order, they might have been able to keep that up, but to no avail. Spicy Space Pirates does get 2 points, and this is a map that we said, just like Junkertown, can get up to some high point numbers. But now with 3 minutes 38 seconds to 2 minutes 40 seconds, this point A, which is notoriously something that you expect to take, becomes a lot harder, as the pressure is more intense, as well as the victory is on the line. If you don't get point A, you're not giving yourself a chance.
Exactly. So it is going to be a lot of weight upon the shoulders of this SSP team, in particular Ninja Spawn. I mean, he was the impact player for his team in that last fight. I mean, three fell kills, 1 swing, well, 3 swings in this case, but that that's how they won. And so he's going to try to go for that repeat performance with the Genji. Once again, Timeless going to have Jabi on his own counter Genji this time around. Neko's still on that Ana.
It's amazing how teams that have a Genji and that use it well, how they just do better when that Genji player is into play. Hopefully one day Doomfist becomes like that too, but I'll take Genji. He's still fun to watch. But now we're coming in, and the first attacking team will be Spicy Space Pirates. They do have less time on the time bank, and Timeless is going to be defending, and Raison going to go right in there and dive in and try to separate the team. iRocket is on the left side right now, looking to see who, what, and where he's going to jump into, especially looking at that back line. So we talked about Ninja Spawn's Genji before, and Jabi's Genji is coming in hot as well, as he's actually going to get more kills thus far for the defense. We don't see that defensive Genji as much as we see that offensive Genji, but right now the defense is winning out as the sniper hits aren't hitting either.
What an ignoble way for your Genji to die to Widow Poison Mine. Feels bad. He took down both supports, and then they're like, all right, we'll give you a Soldier's Burial.
Hey, you know what? At least it was a fast push, right? They didn't waste a lot of time, and if anything, they just got ultimates during ultimate charge during that first push. Ninja Spawn really wants more than 38% right now. We'll see if those shurikens will get that headshot and get those percentages online for him, because that Dragon Blade is how you win this first point. If Fred is not going to get that headshot, as Raison and the Winston do go in and get the dive in, but Adderman is grenaded right now, so no healing for you, and he's just going to fall asleep out there. The Valkyrie not going to really do anything, but Fred and Scrudy are going to make this a little bit more interesting. Since the offensive spawns are a lot more friendly, this means that they're actually going to have a really good chance coming in here to grab the point, because the spawns are in their favor. And Adderman does have Primal Rage. He's going to pop it so he doesn't die instead. I don't know if he needed that, because his supports were both alive, and we do hear those sniper shots going over and over and over again, as Fred's wall hacks does help get Ironbot's neck out of there. The Primal Rage is going to happen for iRocket as well. Nothing to it, as Adderman is going to continue with those skills. This is a really, this is a big fight on the point so far, as we do hear that Genji Blade come out. Dragon Blade with self-destruct's not going to do anything, as Kisa is going to get the only kill so far in the last 5, and that's on Daria, and that is going to be a point 8 take.
Indeed, in the last few seconds of their time bank, SSP are going to be able to at least pull that point. Hey, and what an expensive fight for Timeless. They threw everything that they had there. Jabi trying to be the hero, trying to tell Ninja Spawn, oh, you have a good Genji, I'll show you a good Genji. Unfortunately, got squashed immediately. However, at least Kisa is very close to that sound barrier. You need something to answer Ninja Spawn's blade. He's SSP, they're going to be coming in hot and heavy. They want this point to take as well.
As Ninja Spawn doesn't get that Genji Blade out and gets a really good blade dash on Kisa in that support, that is going to be opening up the point exactly like they need. They're going to have one shot at this, and this is all they're going to get. And that is, they're taking advantage of that opening kill, as the Sea of Blue does appear on the kill feed thus far. It's just trying his best to be as mosquito-like as possible, and Kisa's going to come in with that Sombra. But the headshots coming from Fred are going to make it a lot easier for Spicy Space Pirates to get. They do have one at stake already, and that is already huge in the tiebreaker situation, but they've got a chance to get the whole point right now. This is going to be one of the last people alive here, as they do get to the spawn. They do. 4-2 Spicy Space Pirates. Really great opening Dragon Blade. That's the guy who plays Genji.
He's certainly. I'm expecting he has like a framed picture of EQO in his bedroom or something like that, because what an incredible blade. But it wasn't just that. It was the timing. Kisa had a sound barrier. He killed him as he tried to drop it mid-air. It's just insane. What incredible timing. And that was it. Who knows? Maybe those extra overshields from that sound barrier would have meant that Timeless could re-establish as SSP with no time, very little time at all, would have finally been rebuffed. Their trek forward stopped right there. But as it happened, so Timeless now, they also have very clear win conditions. They also need to at least finish out the map once again. And to do so this time around is going to be, well, Kisa on the Moira, potentially iRocket on the Reinhardt. Last time around, they just barreled through the doors. They flew in so quickly, SSP didn't even have time to, shake out the doormat, the welcoming mat. And so, wait, what? And then they all just came onto the point and killed them.
Yeah, and Ninja's actually switching over to the McCree here on defense. He does do well on a point A here, especially since those picks, any pick you get on the offensive push is going to take at least 20 to 30 seconds off the clock. So McCree is going to give you that opportunity. And that's why they're pairing it with Fred thus far. And Scrudy himself can get those right clicks. Even though they are nerfed, it's still possible right now on that Zenyatta. But I think players are now favoring that left click like it was before that right click got buffed. But now I'm really interested to see how this McCree Hanzo combination works out. As iRocket, they're just going to walk in. They're actually going to give them that room, and they're going to try to flank from the side. And right now, the point is contested as all of the players on the side of Timeless are on the point so far. Johnny's going to get the first kill on Adderman, and that is going to be an unresable situation as that is in the middle of the fight unless Transcendence miraculously happens, which is not going to happen because they don't have that character on their team thus far. So Instant and Kisa are going to try to even this up, but that's not going to happen because Timeless, like they did last time, just got onto the point. I like Spicy Space Pirates and what they tried to do, keeping back and trying to attack them once they got onto the point, but that just didn't work.
I mean, it was almost shades of a Horizon Lunar Colony first point take. Kisa even threw out their Coalescence, not necessary, but after such a dirty point A take, you gotta hose the place down, you know, a lot of blood there. But Fred does manage to find Jobby in the back, so this is gonna be very difficult for Timeless to continue to push. There is no mercy there on the line, but no matters here. You don't need healing when you have unfettered aggression, but iRocket is going to pay for it with his life.
Yeah, and Daria going to get the res on Adderman with the protection of the Transcendence as well. And they're going to finally be able to reset in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. While it doesn't feel that long, they're probably going to need everything getting into the second point as 2 ultimates online. One of them is that Graviton Surge, and Jobby might have the Wheel of Death available for that Wombo combo, and that's all you need here to get this point. Unfortunately, even though they did start with those kills, Timeless does have nothing on the progress bar. They do need to finish this map. Ninja Spawn, though, getting the pick on Neko is going to be huge as they do not have a mercy, so they're just going to have to wait until he reses. At least he's fast, right?
Yeah, roller skates, man, OP. So, but in the meantime, Spicy Space Pirates, even with the swaps from both of their DPS, they will have earned their ultimates in time, so Ninja Spawn going to have that barrage. And at Timeless, they might well be sitting ducks depending on how quickly they're able to speed through that choke. But they might just be eating a face full of rockets, and that's not how you want to be getting your daily iron supplements. And of course, Fred, with that pulse bomb, all of these juicy tanks will be searching for them prime targets as Daria pops that valve.
All right, and so the Rocket Barrage is going to come out. Really good defensive matrix and a shield coming out of the side of Timeless, and that's actually going to be completely eliminated because of that. But Ryson's going to get the kill on Neko. Not having that mercy is actually going to be kind of a big deal, as Neko is that support, and Kisa doesn't provide like a huge amount of healing in an AoE area like that Lucio does. But Ibot's going to get the self-destruct kill on Fred, who's trying to get on the point, but they got killed instead. Winston and Adderman with a great combo coming in hot as well. Has that Primal Rage and is going to have to use it here in just a second, or maybe not, as Ninja Spawn can come out in his bread and butter, but the Earth Shatter comes out and gets 3 and the pin on Daria. This is your chance, guys. You've got 1 tick. You got to keep going. The Primal Rage is popped. That means it is a desperate situation here for Spicy Space Pirates. The SD mage, the mech does come back in. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just so excited. My brain stopped working as the Divas are fighting each other right now. Kisa is keeping them healed with that Kamehameha, that Coalescence. The Race are going to get the neck once again. The SD's coming out of Spicy Space Pirates this time. Nothing's going to it. Daria has Valkyrie up, keeping that team alive. And right now it feels like the fight is taking forever, but it seems like Timeless is pulling it out with that Pulse Bomb on Jobby. Another Earth Shatter is going to pop out as well, but nothing's going to happen. SD is going to pop up, and so is that Transcendence. It looks like we've seen every ultimate twice at this point, but this is just one long fight. 30 seconds left on the clock, and the Graviton Surge is going to get 2, and it's going to get more people dead on Spicy Space Pirates. Ham, what is going on?
I don't know, man. Dude, you're keeping up a running marathon right here. Pulse Bomb finally takes down iRocket. He is an old man. He's put in more than his share of the damage. And as time ticks down here, 10 seconds left. Timeless, they have no mercy, no chance for resurrection. The closest hope is going to be Jobby's tire. He lets it rip now. There's going to have to be a miracle. But no, Ninja Spawn sees your tire, and I raise it. One extremely sharp sword as yet another Valkyrie comes in here. That chain healing is going to be too great here. iRocket has actually managed to make his slow lumbering away all the way back to this point, and he will have yet another Earth Shatter online. Earth Shatter into Diva self-destruct combo. No, but even so, I'm caught manages to find Daria in the air over there. But Mercy has like a self-destruct magnet in her forehead. But finally, the tide seems to be turning the way of Timeless. That sound barrier going to provide so much more sustain, and you need that time in order for all of your tanks to put in the requisite amount of damage to cut through this defense. All of the kill feed is red, though they're rolling out the red carpet. They want this win so badly. Nobody wants it more than iRocket, though. This man has been going absolutely
Here we
ham.
go, guys.
Genji's laid out, and he's going to eat a Biograss to the face. One last self-destruct. The gas milk.
Oh! Ryson's gonna get in with the double kill. Neko is gonna get killed as well. This fight is not over yet. As I think the fourth Coalescence comes down, and third Earth Shatter is as well. The self-destruct not gonna get anybody, as Daria is now on that Moira at 31%. No Coalescence for you, but there is a Graviton Surge getting 3 people in there, and iRock is gonna swing his hammer all over the place, and finally, 4-4, we have a tie so far here on Anubis. What a thrilling end to that match, as I do believe we were here for approximately 6 years for that fight.
Yeah, no. Oh my goodness. A vocal marathon right there, and not just a vocal marathon, but a fight goodness, 3 Valkyries, 4 Earthshatter, like. On the first day of Christmas, star you give to me 3 Valkyries.
Wow, you're a legend. You know that, right? I love you.
Thank you. But no, that was incredible. And neither of the teams you saw kind of, now, this is the point where the team compositions are coming to bear. Forget your game sense. Forget, like your mechanical skill, just like what heroes are you playing, right? You know Ninja Spong is going to have blades if he stays alive long enough. He just needs to stay alive. But the same could be said for iRocket. Dude has so much HP. Maybe he only does 75 damage per hammer swing, and he's like friggin' slow, so it takes him forever to get to you, to hit you, right? But he will have an Earth Shatter if you let him live long enough. Then it just comes down to a battle of who's going to be popping that ultimate first. It's a game of chicken, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think I was being facetious. I do believe that Kisa had 4 coalescences during that round, and I think we saw 4 Valkyries or 3 Valkyries from Daria. I'd love to go back to the tape and kind of just make a tally of what it was. I'd love also to hear the comms of both of those teams. They must have been nuts. Right? And so how do you even follow that, right? There's so much energy that you just put on this second point. Now you've got a minute to capture this first one, and both teams did capture point A in a minute, as Ninja Sprong gets a deep flight kill on Javi, forces the Brez out of Kisa, so that is unavailable right now, as Aimbot is going to get out of the mech as well. This is looking really, really good so far for Timeless, though, as Spicy Space Pirates is eventually going to fall down, as it's Din going to get those kills on Tracer, do the job, 70% on that Pulse Bomb already, and not looking good so far for Spicy Space Pirates.
This is going to have to be a hungry for those kills. 80% up to the Pulse Bomb here.
And so, the Hungry hit, though, is going to come in. It's Din. That Tracer will have Pulse Bomb available here soon. iRocket, though, is going to get a huge kill on Daria. But Adderman's going to actually even it out with Keith, so this is an even fight. 5v5 so far. Pulse Bomb goes out, doesn't get anything. Aimbot, though, is going to get Adderman one more time, as the kills for Timeless are looking strong. Aimbot appearing a bunch of times, along with his best buddy, it's Din. They're going to share the kill feed together, as they are unable to take point A. Spicy Space Parents, SSP, and Timeless is going to have an opportunity to wrap this match up with a third point if they are able to take point A on Hanamura. And I believe on both of their first pushes, I might be wrong, they did take it within a minute.
Indeed, Timeless is definitely very, very fast at those point A takes. And Aimbot and Instant, Diva and Tracer, name a more iconic garbage man duo, right? You saw that they were putting in the work. Maybe you're not one-clipping everybody. Maybe, a Diva's not assassinating any single hero, but they're putting in that little last bit of chip damage to confirm the kill. I mean, Aimbot actually got a kill in baby Diva form as well. So you can't count out all of these sources of damage, and Timeless playing really, really well around, what they expected from SSP. They knew that likely there would be a Widowmaker on the field. Okay, we'll just wear down your ground troops until you have nobody on the actual point.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of people want to be on the kill feed, right? They want to be the character that appears on that top right, and that's not necessary. It's a team game. If you're supposed to get the kills, you're going to get them. But on the side of Timeless, something that's been really impressing me so far is that their tank play. Their tank play is solid. It's Din on that Zarya. Hope maybe we're getting a little bit of we're going to get a 3-tank look from Timeless, which is really popular on these first point when you need the first point tanks. But the tanks are so solid, everyone else can do their jobs. When you can can feel safe in your tank play, everyone else is going to feel really great too. Really underrated position. They don't get a lot of love, but definitely want to send some to Timeless, which I feel like is the name of my new favorite collateral. But anyway, coming back to the game, they have 1 minute to win the match, and that would definitely feel good as the May wall. I'm sorry, guys. We're not used to seeing it, but May does come in, and that's a really good way to try to delay that point. And so to surprise Bastion, guys. Usually we see this and they switch, but they were on mute to see it coming the whole time. But Ninja Fong on that, on the Bastion is going to give them an opportunity to force this draw.
Yeah, this is Hanamura in Japan, but it might as well be France because the cheese is out. What is this? Ninja Spawn boosted up onto that high ground, shooting into Timeless's hapless occipital regions. Anyways, that's the back of their head. Sorry, getting a little ahead of myself here.
Hey!
Once they are able to get onto the point, Timeless, they may well be able to get something done here, but they're going to have to push through so much damage.
Oh, and they're doing it! So Coalescence is keeping Aimbot alive just for long enough. The right side is going to get the D-Mech, but the no May and no Bastion is going to hurt for Spicy Space Pirates. If they're going to have an opportunity, it is right now, but Adderman is going to get the kill on Ajabi, but Earthshatter is going to knock some people down, but no pins to follow it up. Instead, going to get the kill on the Diva, so no takes for you, but Daria is going to get a clutch res. But right now, Instant, just like last time, putting the team on his back with his best friend, Ibot, and getting the kills right now. They just need one tick here on point 8 to win this. Imagine this thrilling Hanamura that we've seen so far, and as of right now, it is looking like that as Whole Hog is going to come out. Ibot going to get even more kills with that boop, and right now, we do see the end of the match. Timeless takes it 3-0. However, Hanamura and parts of Oasis were really close.
There we have it, folks. That's a wrap for this series. What a way to end things out. We are going to see this great play of the game from Kisa's Moira. Certainly a monster in terms of ultimate generation, but you can't deny also just that biotic grasp. That's some dual purpose hero right there. Getting that cleanup in again, once again, that Graviton Surge. Maybe the Zarya is dead, but your Moira is still alive, and for Timeless, that was all you needed.
Yeah, Timeless on the back, some good tank play and some popping off from Itston is exactly why they are winning this round so far. So Junkertown was also really close. I think this is kind of a score that doesn't tell the whole story. 3-0 on the side of Timeless. That's a 2-0 for them on the first week, especially for a new team. That feels really good, especially in Swiss. So as we go forward, Timeless is going to get stronger and stronger opponents, and we'll really see what's up with this team. On the side of Space Pirates, Spicy Space Pirates, the number one, really cool Bastion strat on the end. It almost worked, but Bastion only works if you have the surprise, right? That's like surprise Bastion is such a thing, unless you're pirate ship, but that's kind of like a tried and true strategy at this point. And and I love the May as well. The May wall at first did exactly what it needed to do. It separated some of the team, made it a 5v6. However, the second wall just blocked them out and just it was just a timer at that point, right? And I think if that second May wall split the team a little bit better, we might still be talking about some games. And I love the strat. Keep practicing that because that was awesome.
Oh no, anytime we can kind of see some of these unorthodox strategies, which seems to be SSP's bread and butter, right? You're pulling out the dual sniper, you're pulling out a defensive Hanzo on Hanamura, stuff, unheard of. And that's definitely an angle that they can work in the future. So, yeah, great stuff for all of our viewers. Not so great for my throat, though. Apologies for all the coffee.
So I've been casting for a couple years now, getting into 3 years, and that last point on Hanamura was some of the best. I loved watching it. That's gonna be a highlight for me, just in general, in terms of fights that go into the annals of history in my head. I will always remember that, guys. So thanks for creating such a great memory, Ham. What are some highlights for you?
Those Diva self-destructs.
Yes,
I have to say that,
both on Junkertown especially.
Especially, you got that beautiful 3K coming in from Raisan, I believe, to, finish out that point A push. Just looks so beautiful, so crisp. It's like 3 dead.
It's like when you're easy. Throwing a handkerchief in the air,
exactly.
Right?
Please catch my Diva Bomb, except you don't want to grab that, because then you're dead. But also, Diva Bomb, Diva self-destruct in order to counter Bastion tank ult.
Yeah.
900 IQ plays.
Yeah, and and that was happening on the side of Spicy Space Pirates. I do remember a Dragon Blade coming out, and as well as a Diva Bomb, which separated out the team, which makes you more vulnerable to one or the other ultimate.
Exactly.
Committing that much is a lot, but I think it's there. I think it's just some polish the Space Pirates need. Timeless, starting off strong. The tanks are there. They got a really good base. I'm really excited to see what these guys can do.
Absolutely. I'm always happy when we get to see a little bit more tanks in play, but we're going to throw it back to the desk. Rapture, Blank, you guys have all the deets. You're watching that game as well. Break it down for us.
Thank you, Ham. Wow, what a spectacular Hanamura. Definitely my map of the weekend so far. That was so exciting to watch, and it was great listening to y'all cast it. Blank, I mean, there's so much to talk about just on that map alone. The Bastion May we saw at the end, Fred's amazing Widowmaker, the defensive Hanzo. Really, where do we start?
Oh,
I think he might be muted, Blank.
He's so excited he doesn't even realize.
I didn't even realize that was muted, guys. I'm so
name
sorry.
was-
The name Blank doesn't need to also extend to your microphone sound, right? So
He was so excited that we actually couldn't hear it in our realm. It was in another dimension.
It's like a dog
To bring him
Yeah,
back
dog
into
was-
it. Exactly. It was on another tempo. But yeah, Blank, what'd you think about that? So much exciting stuff.
First off, you're all uninvited to the analysis party. No, there was an amazing set of match. The Hanamura is one of those maps where, like Ham says, you can hit it at 7-8. 2 hours later, you're both teams are gagging for war at that point. Can't seem to get a break at all. In that case, Jesus, there was so much. There's so much. It's difficult though. A lot of the times, I would say it's because SSP weren't really. They were kind of ignoring their own supports a lot. Whereas it was Timeless who weren't ignoring their support, so they're getting a bit more attention from the enemy team, which isn't fun, but attention all in all is nice to have. But on that second push, if we go all the way back to the past, I don't know if any of you guys seen Flushed Away, but it's a story of how SSP used their ultimates. It was kind of sad to see it go away pretty quickly. Timeless didn't have to use much, and their mechanical skill just outplayed them a lot of times. There were also points. Positioning was an issue for SSP. You saw Fred actually try and get into the Bastion ultimate, which would have been maybe an amazing play at that last point to push them right out. Also, I loved that he was set up so high, but again, he set up in that Bastion mode. You are locked in place for 2 seconds, guys. You got to remember that. And in that time, it was iRocket, red eyes blinking, saw him and just ran up and smacked him out of the world. That wasn't too good for him. So maybe if he'd moved around the corner, could have done something about it. There were just so many things that happened. I think the kill potential had to be higher there. On certain points, like the last one, you got them out and just amazing stalls coming out from either side. But if anything, you need to get rid of those supports early. If they're still alive, then there's not much you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ham, I know it was a long bout for you. Was there anything that stuck out from Timeless? It was like, this is definitely why they're bringing all the stops to SSP. Like, what was it about Timeless, that, like the essence of the team, that pushed them through such a really excruciating match?
It's really hard to pin down any single factor, because I think that was, well, maybe that's the single factor, is that they play so well as a team, right? It's not necessarily that, every time they win, it's because of, Javi's Junkrat got like a 3K tire or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. It was an amalgamation of kind of all of the players chipping in at certain times that we saw, like the final Graviton Surge that ended that painful, like Hanamura point beat overtime. The Zarya died, but the rest of the team knew exactly where to turn their eyes and finish up on the damage, that unwilling group hug. You're all going to be in an unwilling group grave as well after this. And so, I mean, if I'm biased, but I would say maybe iRocket, because you are that front line, right? You're the main tank. You're going to be absorbing the majority of the damage. Where are you? How are you positioned? And then how also are you leading the team in? Every single time that we saw Timeless take an engagement there on Hanamura, in particularly that point A, they rush through. How many times have we been in, playing competitive or whatever, we're like, go Ryan, go, he like throws a fire strike, or he like walks forward and then feels like maybe his team doesn't have his back, so he like falls backwards again. Or you get those Ryans, a YOLO charge, and they just fly right in, and you're just trying to trail him in, and it's like a trail of death, right? So I think the importance of like your main tank and how they synergize with the rest of the team, how they approach these fights can't be understated. It's super important, and he was definitely living up to his title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, like I rocket. You saw the amount of time he got those charges off, and I think the charges that he did make were extremely important. I think the reads onto Rayson jumping out of mech early, and then especially on that last stall where he would charge through that, because he remained on point for so long, it was very difficult to shove him off. He anchored in, put down those walking boots into the ground. He wasn't going anywhere, keeping alive. But that comes down to the supports, really, doesn't it? I mean, those guys staying alive for as long as possible, and him being that big shield at the front, keeping him out of harm's way, it was important as well as. But I'd just quickly like to highlight Fred on that second point, getting SSP through to that fourth round. There was a point where it was the Genji on Timeless who actually dueled him, and he managed to get a quick flick onto him with the SMG, turned around, grappled away, and then ended his life with a quick shot to the dome, and then managed to come in and had all the sightlines he needed to pick up a few more kills before they actually closed that one out. So well played from him. But like Ham says, it's very hard to click it down to one sole thing, but I would give it away, like Ham says, to that main tank play, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Fred. Fred was so hype on the Widowmaker. Him and the Zenyatta with the Discord Orb, an amazing combination, making every shot count. It was really exciting to see. And going all the way back to when we first started the set, like he talked about, the tank play from SSP, and definitely something that they needed to focus on. And it seems like things were still pretty close throughout the set. I mean, Boop, you said it pretty well, that the score really is not indicative of how the set went, right? Like, things were so close between these two teams. The expectations going into the set, Blank, how did that compare to how SSP actually played, and now that they're 0-2 going into their next matches?
Well, if I'm quite honest, I'm coming into Hanamura. The reses that actually came out from Daya were greatly and vastly improved from Junkertown and Oasis there. So they're definitely learning. And that's something that's always, through Open Division at least, which is something important. They're an incredibly strong team, and going 0-2 into next week, setting themselves up against another players who are also 0-2, they might just have a pretty easy time, if I'm quite honest with you. They were matched up against some difficult matches this week, and if I just quickly refer to my notes here, there was a point where Ninja Spawn was 2% away from his Dragon Blade on second point during stall. There was a point where Adam was also 3% away from Primal Rage on the first stall. So there was some unlucky moments for them, and I think as long as they start to get this team play down, start to focus on counter dive with their supports, they'll do well. Timeless, just keep doing what you're doing. Make sure that main tank stays alive there. iRocket is going to rocket you into the wins here, push you towards the future of Open Division, and have a good time. So all in all, some great games. Ham, what's your take?
Excuse me. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree.
I got it. So Ham's take is that she likes Reinhardt, right? So she's a Reinhardt main. So I think, I think we're in agreement that iRocket is kind of like the stability of the team. And I think something else I think that's worth pointing out is I think their comms are probably really clean too. And I think that's really exhibited by that second, when they got to 4 points, and then when they were trying the special Bastion strat, the comms on where they are, how to get through that, they worked perfectly. So, when you have that, we see teams in Owl struggling with comms right now. So if they have some of those basics down, that's like a huge advantage for them against these newer teams for sure.
Yeah, I mean, SSP, they have a lot going for them. You have two really great DPS players. And certainly Fred, I mean, standout on Hanzo, not a hero that many players can claim in their, pool. So as long as they're able to play around him like they did, for example, on that first point of Junkertown, then I think they can definitely go very far because, if nothing else, other teams not going to be used to playing against that comp.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah, Ham. So I was actually talking to SSP just really quickly. They were talking about how they have a difficulty choosing one person as a shot. So if they can work on that, do pretty damn well. Going to throw this one back to Rapture now to close this one up.
Definitely. It has been an absolutely awesome broadcast here for EU. Big thanks to all our casters here today, Dudge, Energy, and then, of course, Ham and Boop doing a phenomenal job. And I've been very thankful to be joined by Blank on the desk and, of course, Ben in the back for production. But don't fret, we still have more games coming today, which is awesome. We're now going to be jumping over to North America in a couple hours, about 3 hours or so. At 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to get some matches started with Mystery Gang versus Team Conviction. So you're going to see the likes of Moosh, you're going to see the likes of Gilfrost, Lemon, Kiwi, Moicabo, Lafon, and many more. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I hope you all enjoy the broadcast because, of course, we'll be doing these every weekend for the Open Division for both North America and Europe Season 2. So be sure to follow Broadcast.gg on Twitch, on Twitter. Of course, all of our lovely talent here, the casters, Blank, Ben on production, everyone here putting this all together. But for now, we're going to sign off to get get ourselves together for the NA broadcast and get all our teams ready. Of course, we have Mystery Gang and Team Conviction, and then the Minneapolis Maggots versus Mirage Sport Electronic, which is the wildest way to put esports I've ever heard. But I'm excited to see how it goes. But we had some great sets here today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I've been Rapture here with the gang here out on Broadcast.gg. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all at 3 p.m. Eastern for some more Open Division Season 2. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you later.